Hey everyone, Mark and Joey back here for another day of our Ultimate Sports Channel shows. Fantastic Tuesday, beautiful day again, and NHL is on our mind. It's Game 7 of the NHL season. Wow, to think about what it takes to get through a whole season of hockey and in the playoffs through 4 series to get to the Stanley Cup final, and it goes 7 games. These guys are monsters when it comes to conditioning and dealing with injury and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
And Joey, we're going to be on different sides tonight. Although we've said in the last shows, and I'll clarify again, we're going to have the same cheering interest because I'd like to see St. Louis win. I'd love to see cities, mainly because we're sufferers of this in Toronto, who have won the Stanley Cup for so long. I'd like to see St. Louis win, but I really, from a betting perspective or a selection perspective, have Boston. I believe they will actually win the game tonight. And Joey, you are behind St. Louis, not just in a cheering interest, but in believing that they're going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and they're actually the longest team to be active without a cup. They're not the longest Stanley Cup drought team, though. That'd be
us, yeah.
But they are the longest team that have been around without a cup. And
they have no cups. At least the Leafs have cups 60 years ago.
I'd almost rather have no cups, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be more modern, yeah.
Like, honestly, rather have no cups, because now people make fun of the fact that your last cup was in black and white.
Yeah.
It's coming off the trophy next year. I'd rather just have...
That's an interesting fact before we get into the show, that they actually have to. It makes sense, but you kind of never listened to it until someone said, oh, the Leafs, the last Stanley Cup is actually dropping off the trophy. So Toronto will no longer have a team on the trophy. That's amazing.
So go place your bets for Toronto in the Stanley Cup next year, isn't it, Destiny?
Hopefully.
But yeah, I'm going with St. Louis tonight. I'm going with St. Louis from the heart, but also from analytical perspective. They have been very good on the road. Jordy Binghamton has been playing really good. And honestly, I think the home crowd is actually it's hard to say your home crowd hurts you, but it's made them, I think, over nervous.
Yeah.
Haven't played as great. On the road, they look a lot more comfortable. Binghamton looks a lot more comfortable. The offense gets going a little bit better. They seem to do stuff a lot earlier in games. They've scored a lot earlier when playing in Boston. So I think there's a calmness to being on the road for them right now. I think they know that their record is really good on the road, and it has been really all year. So my biggest thing is this, though. Guarantee yourself a win by doing this. One thing. Score a power play goal. This has been pathetic. You had a chance in game 6 to score the power play. You didn't. Boston gets power. They automatically score. It's what veteran teams do. If you get a power play early, please capitalize on it. But anyway, I believe St. Louis is going to win from the heart and from an analytic perspective. They should get this done. They've played in deep series so far this year. I don't really feel like Boston had too much worry. Their longer series was with the Leafs, but let's be honest, they knew they were probably going to win that.
Game 7,
but they probably knew they were going to win that the whole time. St. Louis has been through the ringer in every single series. They've won the road when they've had to do it. I think they get it done tonight, and I sure hope so, because I can't imagine the scene in St. Louis watching this team win and a celebration afterwards. If Boston wins, it'll be more of, we're supposed to, we're Boston. If St. Louis wins, I think it'll be an oh my god moment, and something that'd live obviously in the history of hockey forever, as most teams' first Stanley Cups certainly do. So should be a great game. The Lakes at Game 7, they're banged up, they're playing hard. All these guys through so many injuries. It's awesome to see. Yeah,
it is for sure, and I think you're right on watching them win. Hopefully, is the fact that Boston, this will be the 3rd championship in Boston.
Yeah,
who cares?
So their own crowd's gonna be like, "Yo, we should what took you so long? Our football team won and our baseball team won."
Because it's been 9 years.
Let's go! It's been since 2010, I think, or 2012, and they've been really good for a long time. They won it back with Tim Thomas, but they're in the playoffs every year. That's what I mean. It's sort of like, Boston looks at their sports teams going, we should win.
Yeah.
We're in the playoffs every year with every team, not just one team, with every team. 2 of our other teams have already won. I don't think it would be that big a deal, honestly, if Boston went to the city. But obviously, St. Louis, it would just change the whole city. It would just be, no one would go to work tomorrow. I think it would be one of the biggest parades you've ever seen. And that's why I think everyone kind of wants St. Louis secretly to win this championship.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Boston is there with the experience. I always go with that experience, especially when we get to Game 7 here. That's why I think Boston will win. Interesting point that you mentioned Tim Thomas. Tuukka Rask was a backup rookie at the time they won last time, so he's been in net for a lot of years without this success. I think he's been amazing throughout all these playoffs. I think he'll lead them to the victory. So I'm looking for Boston to win. I'm cheering for St. Louis. We'll see what happens tonight, but a lot of possibilities of first I don't know if you follow the NBA, but our basketball team, the Raptors, have a chance to wrap up the basketball championship. That'd be a first for us as well. So looks like a great finals here in the playoffs that could be resulting in 2 first cups for 2 different cities, one of them being ours and one that we can cheer for as well. 63% of the players on St. Louis are Canadian, so it gives us a cheering interest that way. So we're really looking forward to Game 7. Hope you guys enjoy it as well. As always, as I told you in Game 6, what did I say? First goal wins. Same thing will happen tonight. It's critical. Whoever gets that first goal can now play, especially with Boston. St. Louis is a bit of a high-scoring team, so the team could come back against them. Boston is a shutdown team. If they get the first goal tonight, you might as well shut the TV off. It's all over, and we'll see Boston as champions. So St. Louis, you must, amongst the other things they're saying, power play, must score first.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's a must because of the road's a little different, but plus it's Game 7, which is also a little different, but obviously it gets you off to the better start. Teams that score first typically win. It's the way it is in hockey, especially these days where scoring 3 goals is something to be proud of because it's so difficult now to score with the goaltenders and the equipment and the list goes on and on. So, yeah, obviously it's important, but I don't think it's a must. I do think, though, like I said, get something going early. Have a good start to the game. Don't let Boston score in the first period, maybe. That'd be probably the best goal. But, yeah, I think you just got to go out there, play like you have on the road. You've been fantastic on the road. That's all you need to worry about. And do that again, and you'll be just fine, and you'll be taking the cup back to St. Louis.
Yeah, we got to look forward to an exciting game. I don't think it matters which direction, which city's going to get it. It is going to be exciting hockey, which is what we're all looking for. Unless, of course, you're local and you live in St. Louis or Boston, you want your team to win. Otherwise, we're looking for a great game to finish off Game 7 and have a fantastic Stanley Cup. We hope for one thing. You were a goalie when you played hockey. I just don't want the winning goal to be a bad goal. I just hope it's all
I don't think it will be. These guys have
and,
played too well.
That if there's a goal that wins it, I hope it's a good goal that a goalie couldn't save, and because it's a long summer if you make a mistake.
Yeah, and I think it would be unfair with the way these goaltenders have played. They're both MVPs if their team wins.
Yeah,
so
I agree 100%.
I agree with you. Let's make it a good game. Let's make it a good goal to finish it off, and hopefully a close one.
Enjoy tonight, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with a recap of the season. This is it. It doesn't go any further. The Stanley Cup will be awarded tonight one way or another, and we look forward to recapping that, and then it's on to more summer sports. It's quite a great thing in sports to be able to change seasons, and we're coming up with that. So we'll see you tomorrow with a recap of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.